Did you read those pages I sent you?
No, which pages?
Oh, I check on your check on Messenger. I sent you some pages that are like I sent you a description of your sun gate, of your I think it's gate 15, isn't it? Your,
Yeah, 15 was one of them.
Yeah, it talks about exactly that. It talks about your challenge is about denying your own heart and being too serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That
right in
rings true.
there.
The seriousness kind of cuts off the heart.
Yep.
Wow. Oh my days.
So that's a major life theme breakthrough
Wow.
for your
Yeah,
soul
man.
to learn.
Yeah, in hindsight, I can see how I've had the opportunity to be learning that, but he's took it to be so simply pointed out for me to really see it, you know?
Yeah.
Someone could say, oh,
Yeah.
you're being serious or whatever. But it's like, all right, I'm just being serious. But until it's like written down and said so clearly. That...
Yeah, and that's like one of mine is around responsibility, misunderstanding the scope of responsibility and misunderstanding what responsibility is mine and which part is not.
Right. Wow.
When I read that for myself, and I actually read that from an energetic standpoint, I went, "Oh man, that's accurate."
Scary accurate.
Yeah. Because I've been studying the I Ching too, with respect to the gene keys numbers and all that stuff, and there's so much insight in there too. It's just mind blowing.
So Joe, before you go, would you celebrate for others that may not understand what it means to be aware? Just in your last couple of days, as you focused on seriousness.
One second, there's a tractor coming. It's far too serious with its noise.
Perfect. And what I mean, while that's going on, is how you opened it up with the wonder and curiosity and joy of seeing it and just seeing, wow, that was gold.
Yeah, it's gold for me to realize and catch myself in that serious state, and now I catch myself in it. It's like, oh, I'm being serious. Like before, I wouldn't even have caught on. I'd have just got deeper and deeper into it until someone made me laugh, or I just got bored of it. But to be able to see it as it's happening, obviously it'll creep up, but I'll be aware, and then I'll see it, and then it's like time to giggle, time to laugh. It's like, oh my God, I did it again. Like, oh shit, I'm taking it seriously. So yeah, it's just absolutely magic to be able to see that, to be aware of that, and then to also, whatever feelings are coming up around it, not just pushing them down, you know. I feel like I have been a feeling pusher downer a lot throughout my life. And that's probably tied into the seriousness. So, but wow, yeah, to be able to see it and then to laugh at it, and like I've even got my girlfriend like, yo, call me out when I'm being serious, you know, like, and then I'll tell her like I was being serious and you didn't call me out, and vice versa, because then my seriousness is gonna trigger her seriousness. Do you know what I mean? It's like wow,
Yeah.
but the giggle and the laughter, like for me, can do it, you know, and that's just it's just mad because yo, this has been happening all my life, man. Like looking back, I've seen me getting serious and stuck in that series, but I've never. I mean, this one funny time, yeah, my brother chucked a grapefruit out my head, yeah. He literally split it on my head, and it was hilarious. Well, it wasn't hilarious in the moment, but like, he chucked it like a basketball across the kitchen, and it landed on my head, split on my head, and I remember I was waiting for my kids to arrive, yeah, because that's the only reason I was in the kitchen. And like they were late as it was, so I was slightly annoyed, you know, like and all that shit. And but I remember like when he took that grapefruit on my head, I was furious. I was so annoyed. And then even when my girls arrived, I didn't feel like I could even be in the same room as them. And that's why it's like that's probably why I pushed it down a lot, all this seriousness, because I've not known, you know, what to do with such feelings,
Yeah.
you know, and to be able to acknowledge it, to honor it, to love it, to let it go with love, yeah, to sit with it, not be scared of it, know it's gonna pass. Magic. So yeah, laughter, catching myself in that seriousness, because there's a time and a place for the seriousness, but I think it's took up too much bandwidth in my life. I need to relax.
Good word for it. Take too much bandwidth. Yeah, because it's very easy. It's very easy to swim in it by yourself, but then the people around you end up joining you in it. It's like swimming in mud. You know, it's really heavy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. That was a great report, just a great experience for, we could feel it and sense it in your life. And what I learned from that is, again, that originally we would put focus on seriousness in the relationship. And what we find is that these patterns are in every aspect of our life.
Yes. Wow. Buzzing, guys. Thanks for letting me share that with you.
Thank you, Joe. Travel
yeah.
safe.
Big love, brother.
Thanks for your share, your gift, your greatness and genius today, sharing your experience that has shifted your life.
Yo, thank you, guys. Yo, big love. I'm not going to be able to hear you on this, okay? So I love you
Okay,
and leave you. Have a blessed one. And thank you, guys. I love you, all right?
Thanks, Joe. Love you.
Yeah, I love you too, man.
I love you.
Thank you for coming today.
On, all right? Thank you. Thank you for having me. I love you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye now.
What a way to start the day.
Yeah, for me too. Wow. It's so his enthusiasm is so inspiring to me. It just is. Yeah. He has an insight and it's like, oh man, he's rocking on it for hours, you know.
Yeah.
And they're always joyful.
Right. And, you know, that is from the way he uses the word serious, like I've never experienced that with him.
Yeah.
I've always experienced him as that upbeat, but again, it's not so much of the few intersections we have, it's the ones that we have with ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
It's that when we're alone, when we're in moments, when we're in our cave, it's what we tell ourselves is what matters. And those are the hardest ones to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that patterns become automatic.
Mhm. The automatics, the ones we see all the time. Sorry, the ones that play all the time, we don't necessarily see or aware of them. And I love that he was saying he notices it and then he is allowing the emotions. So that was the key to it. And it usually is. There's emotions around it that we don't know what to deal with. We don't know how to deal with them. A good friend called me last night. We all know her. And she's the genius behind Focus for FOR, focus, observe, relax,
Oh, yes.
trust,
Yes.
truth, and win. So it's like trust the truth and win. And she celebrated with her settlement.
Oh,
It was
awesome.
beautiful of just taking a moment and giving thanks, yeah, for being support, being connected, gathering together through, again, reflecting over the last year and how far, how much growth she has had in her life.
Yeah, she's been a very real blessing to me too.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Huge, quiet heart. So she spoke again, and I love when she does because she is so skilled in focus, observe, relax, true, trust, truth, and win. But those were, it wasn't that they were new. It was like, oh, I can fit them in another way. And it was just so much fun when someone triggers to remember that. And so in all reality, as best I'll say it, she said the settlement ended up in her favor even better than she imagined.
But quite frankly, it would be awesome either way.
Exactly.
You know, that's,
Exactly.
that stuff just doesn't matter.
Yep. He was
As we think it does, right?
right. And her real win that I heard her speak to was how she could hold herself in those pressure, in those intense moments, and hold her center using focus, observing, and relaxing. You know, when you're with lawyers, right? You're with someone that has been extremely unnice, unkind.
Tell me about it.
And so that experience can be packaged the way she needs it, wants it, stored where it needs to be stored, and open to life going forward. So my word for today is connectedness. I was surprised to get Joe's feedback on how big that awareness was for him. And I'm grateful that he shared. So for those connections that we want to get, that are still cooking, that are coming into existence, just to extra dose them today. As they go out, as they impact, as they connect to the hearts, the geniuses that they need to connect to.
Yeah.
Softening the heart so we can be aware. Softening the heart again to be more aware, which continues to soften the heart. It's an endless.
You know, these are energetic bonds we're talking about here. Kind of like when you mix two chemicals together, there's a chemical reaction as it becomes, combination becomes something different. Some of the energies in one atomic structure, the energies pull apart. They move and they reaffix to other parts of the compound. So like they let go and then they turn around and reattach. Something else.
Gather, breakthrough, and scatter. We scatter to just another gather. For a new breakthrough.
Yeah. No, it's been fascinating me over the last couple of days. I've been really feeling the energy of this, but it's either I'm catching up with life or life's kept catching up with me. might actually be both.
Hmm.
If that's even possible.
It is, because you're not fixing it one way, it has to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at this event I attended yesterday. 2 more days of it, but it's the publishers conference. It's like people that create messaging, and there's some of my friends from MagMinder there too, which is kind of interesting as well. But there's this one lady who's been writing about the kind of stuff that we discuss every morning. She's been writing about this stuff for many years, and she spoke, and I knew right away. I knew right off the top that she's an old soul like me. Like I was just totally zinged by the energy of the words she was speaking, and she's a master. She's a master of it. I know she's written a whole bunch of books and all this kind of stuff, and she just kept saying things, and I just kept getting zingers. So, and I must have been pretty obvious about it because she commented in the chat that she really appreciated my responses to what she had said. So I must have been. In fact, she said you're really animated about it. So anyway, so I asked her for her phone number, and she gave me her phone number, which kind of freaks me out too. And but the thing is, I was kind of reflecting on that again this morning on that whole experience, and I don't remember the words that she said, but I still feel the energy of what she said. And damn, I want to communicate like that.
No, that's the beauty of the connections. It gives us something to strive for. It gives us a window of what's possible. It gives us a window, it gives us structure to say, oh, that's where I could be, and this is where I am.
Yeah.
And that creates the tension.
A demonstration.
Yeah. And what's beautiful is it now becomes a shortcut. You can get there quicker because of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
The trailblazers are like, if they're doing it themselves, that's what takes the longest. Now we all do versions of it. Yeah. We're always improving from what others give us. I think that's all that we can do. It's like, and that's trust, truth, and win. Or truth, trust and win. I'm not sure truth, trust, and win either way. They're both a structure. It just depends on where you're looking at it.
Yeah.
You know, the trust is that you can be like her. You can speak like that lady. Like it gives you something to strive for. And then the truth of it is you trust you can get there. And the truth is the moment of now, where you're at.
Yeah.
And that desire becomes the tension.
That desire gave me something to lead with.
Yeah.
And to lead me at the
That's
same
right.
time.
To take trust so that you can take that step into it. It's like, yeah, there's it's.
Yeah.
And it's not like that one step gets you right where she's at. That is such a disrespect for her.
Yeah.
And we think it's so obvious because we see them perform so well, right? It's like, oh, it looks so easy. But that's the work that they've put into it. Hell, now you got a phone number. It's like, man, it's like, that's even quicker than, I mean, that's a shortcut or could be a shortcut, right?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
It's like all sorts of spaces of possibilities inside of that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and the really inspiring part about it is it's definitely a soul connection. I mean, that's like you and I have, you know. It's just like immediately you just know, there's something synergistic about this. Yeah. And what's interesting is that she reached out to me. I'm just going like, how in the hell did that happen?
Engaged. Engaged. Curious, wonder, participation. It's not hard to stand out. Sorry, it's hard to do it. It's hard to step out of the uncomfortable and engage and participate.
Yeah.
But those that do it stand out. And they get the most out of it. They get the highest return.
Yeah.
Mm.
And when the event was over and the sun went down, it was just spilling out of me. It's just everything was just spilling out of me. It's just like, oh my. Kind of like a dam had broken, but it just, it it was just coming out like not gushing, but just like it felt like a stream that doesn't have an end to it.
I say that's a testimony, a testament to who you are becoming. You are rather, so there's people that are engaged and participating, curious and wonder, how could this work? And where others that are there are comparing it to what they think works. Good one. You're in some sort of other, you're in the exponential learning, and they're in the limited space.
Because there's so much 3D information in these kind of events, right? But when your vantage point has changed, there's so much else that can be there. Quite frankly, the majority of people attending this event are earlier in the transitional phase, and so they actually still need what's being presented. But they also need to have demonstrated what's beyond that.
Just
One
like
of the
you, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. And the thing is, when she spoke, I saw the beyond that demonstrated right away, and it spoke to my heart right away and energized me in a deep way. And and I identify with that, with the energy of that. I identify with the leadership energy in that, and the demonstration energy in that, and the timing of the energy in that. So I saw my own reflection in her. So that's how this works.
The connected inner beings, you bet.
Yeah. It brought up the question, is my light like this? Is my light like this? Yeah, and the answer that reflected back at me is yes. My light is like this. Oh, wow. You know, this is kind of fascinating too, because I just realized that that's not motivational speaker energy. That is inspirational speaker energy.
Afternoon, Ian. Welcome.
Hi. Sorry, my signal went yesterday. I was out and it cut off.
Hey, Ian.
Hi.
No worries, man. It's all good. Hope you enjoyed the beach. I was
It
glad
was
you
nice.
shared
I'm a
it
little bit
with us.
sunburnt, but it was nice. I look a bit like a lobster today, but it was nice.
Oh no. Yeah, that sun. Oof. No, it was great to be with you yesterday and today and share that experience. I could hear the kids in the background just playing, having fun. I could hear the seagulls. I really enjoyed sharing that experience.
Me too. And I enjoyed being a kid and making sandcastles. It was fun.
Yes. That's what life is, right? Just making sandcastles. Craig, being in a workshop, seeing what's possible, drawn into it and saying, wow, I could do that. You sitting there relaxing, taking it in, the sun absorbing it, yeah, and I could do that sandcastle. And Joe working with, seeing his seriousness and say, I can build a sandcastle. Hmm. demonstrations of our genius, playing, interacting, coming out. No, that's been my word today is connectedness, or connectedness, interconnections, reflections to and from others. Spreading our wings and flying. What's possible? What could be? And the truth of where I am. And trusting that first step. There's always a first step to every sand castle. First step to every genius. Do we trust it? The truth of it is the tension.
Am I learning to trust it?
Yeah. How could I trust it?
Oh my, oh my.
How could I trust my genius? How would I know? What would it look like?
Oh, I tell you the story of the voice and the lawnmower?
You can tell us again. You haven't in this moment yet.
Yeah, because I just got another realization around that story. It's kind of blowing me away right now, so I'll share the story. Holy crap, is it June 6th? It's June 6th today. This is the anniversary of that story. This story happened on June 6th of 2005. And a few weeks before that day, my wife and I, we were living in Canada at the time, in Edmonton, Alberta. And a few weeks before that, my wife and I had taken a trip to Salem, Oregon, so she could attend a job interview that she had at the boarding school that she had graduated from. I don't know why her parents did that, but they had set aside money so that every one of their kids could do their senior year wherever they wanted. And pretty much every one of them, I think all of them except one, went away to a school somewhere to complete their senior year. And my wife had gone to this boarding school in Salem, Oregon. And when I met her, she had just completed her teaching degree. So she was a teacher. And she always said that she wanted to come back to Salem to this school she graduated high school from. She wanted to teach there. So the opportunity came up for her to teach there, and we went to this interview, and by the time June 6th rolled around, we already knew that she was offered a job there. So we had pretty much decided that we were moving to the US. And so in order to kind of tie up loose ends, I had a contract with a maintenance company. At that time, I was doing financial coaching and consulting, but I've always been kind of a playing participant in those kind of things. And so that summer, I was actually heading up a crew of grass cutters. We were doing landscape maintenance and that kind of stuff. And so I had a crew of about 2 or 3 people. And so this was June 6th, and I was up in one suburb of the main city with my crew. And I was on this riding mower, 4 foot wide, like 48-inch swath on it, and it had a sulky on the back where it was kind of a walk behind, but you could actually stand on this one-wheeled unit and and let it pull you around. So here I am. I got the lawnmower right up to top throttle, and I'm running around doing this stuff, and over the sound of the lawnmower, I hear a voice. Like with my physical ears. And the voice said, "Craig, trust me." So I was pretty sure I heard something. And so I throttled the lawnmower down and I got off it and I looked around to try to see if one of my crew was trying to flag me down. Because I heard my name called, right? And I couldn't find anybody in the crew. They were off doing edge trimming or whatever. I couldn't find anybody. And so I kind of shrugged it off like, oh, you're just hearing things or whatever. And then we finished up that property and hopped in the truck. And our next big setup was in another suburb that was totally the opposite direction across town. And I don't know, we didn't usually have two properties to do that were that far apart, because usually what we do is we kind of get into a section of town and just do a whole bunch of properties in that same part of town. But for some reason or other, I went from the far northwest to the far southeast part of town. And got everything set up and got back on the mower and going full tilt again. About 15 minutes in, I hear it again. Motor of the lawnmower is going full tilt and I hear it again. Craig, trust me. And this time I broke down. I shut the lawnmower down and I don't know if I'd call it upset, but I just knew something major was going on. And I just paced back and forth like I do. And it's interesting because here I am in barefoot on a patch of grass that I found this morning. And I'm pacing back and forth as I'm telling this story. So that's kind of amusing too. But anyway, I just this voice, Craig, trust me. And I got up on a berm and started pacing back and forth, and tears came to my eyes that I couldn't hold back. And I knew something major had just happened. And I felt that there was a question being asked, or that there was a response that was required of me. And in light of what you just said, Jesse, you'll know what I said. You'll know what my response was. My response was, I can't. I can't. And that was the most honest thing that had ever come out of my heart in my life. Morning. Yeah, I'm fine. Just walking barefoot. Just walking barefoot on the grass. Thank you. So the response was, I can't. The question was, and you just said it this morning, Jesse, the question was, could you trust? Could you trust. And here I am 18 years later to the day. And I'm actually trusting. You know, initially when I heard that voice, I thought it was the voice of God. Because quite frankly, I didn't know what else to think. Since that day, I've come to realize that that voice was the voice of my inner authority, my inner truth. Very upfront and personal. Beckoning. My heart beckoning, my own heart beckoning me toward trust. My heart is opening up to trust and to faith and to joy. And I never could have imagined on that day what it would take for that to occur in me. Could I trust? My current reality that day was no, I can't. But I wanted to. I desperately wanted to. I must have seen the possibility of could. Because here I am today. Trusting. Trusting myself, trusting God, trusting the universe, trusting the energy of all that is. What a miracle this is. Oh, my. How far we've come, boys. It's like, oh my goodness.
Mm.
I'm gonna the underlying structure that I heard through all of that. Craig, thank you. The experience of yours as trusting what could be, what could I want? And it's like, could you trust me? No idea what that meant 18 years ago.
No, no, not at all.
And that was the truth. And every moment along the way has been truth towards that. No matter how it went, no matter which way it went, it was the truth of that moment pulling towards it. Probably never complete. I don't know.
That's funny because I just got that too. You know, because this story I've told it a number of times, but it seems like the story doesn't end. Like those insights of today are in addition to anything I've ever told before.
Yeah. And that tension of the structure.
Yeah.
That pull towards it.
Yeah,
There's no
that
way
is a
you
pretty
could
good
push
tension
yourself
story,
to that.
isn't it?
There's no way you could push yourself to that.
Well, I couldn't force it either.
You could fight it.
Yeah. Good morning.
Went through.
Yeah. None of them do over here. You're going to find this wall pretty much everywhere down this whole neighborhood. I just found some grass I could walk barefoot on. Good. Exactly. Have a good day. I must be glowing.
Or crazy.
Well, both. Both and. Yes, and.
Yes, and.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a really, really good tension story right there. Wow. Because, you know, there had to be something really powerful that was drawing me towards a lifestyle of trust, because I went through some In the last 18 years, I've gone through some really, really heavy slogging to get here. But the pull was always there. The magnetic. The draw.
And it was always within that experience.
Yep.
In that memory, in those words, in that feeling.
Yeah, and in that trapped energy. The trapped energy in Kent. The opening of a could. Powerful word, that one. Could. Because it doesn't mean we have to know how. Just, is there enough space? Is there enough space for a could?
Yeah, I think of it as a magical word. Just because yeah. Same thing. It's just the magic of that word.
It's a crack of open.
Thanks for sharing, Craig. I was just feeling into what you were saying. So yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, Ian. I'm really glad I could share that with you today. On its anniversary. That's so hilarious.
When you were saying it, 2005, I was 18 and it was 18 years ago. So I don't know if 1818 means anything, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and the honesty of my response to, you know, we were discussing yesterday how I had developed this pattern where I was lying to cover things up. lying to protect, and all that stuff. And so have for someone who's been carrying around that, the energy of deception, have an honest moment like that is a huge moment.
Was that lying to yourself?
Well, not just lying to myself. It was after my death experience when I was 2 years old. I don't know if you know about this or not, but I had a death experience when I was 2 years old, and I actually suffocated. I went to the other side, had a little tete-a-tete with God, and got sent back. And when I got back, the kids that I was with were in a panic, and I was in a panic because I was physically convulsing, and it kind of spooked these kids, and they swore me to secrecy, and I didn't really know what that meant because I was only 2 years old. But anyway, but it stuck, and so I started covering things up and not telling the whole truth and being deceptive, and lying about things, not being truthful. And so to have the truth come out of my mouth in such a profound way as a response to the trust me question, is quite heavy, actually. I just got another insight around the events of 2021 and 2022 for me. Is that there was this court case that was built against me was exactly that. There was some truth in it, but there was parts of the truth that were intentionally left out. To cover up the truth. Wow. That's that energy of deception that I was talking about. Yeah. See, all this stuff is tied together around the energy of deception, and then a liberation from that energy. Being set free from the energy of it. Being set free from those oppressive energies that we've been carrying around our whole lives. Wow. Everything's about the energy. Everything.
And in energy, there is no time.
Yeah. and it can control you. Energy controls you until you're liberated from it, until something happens or something breaks that sets you free from it. Oh, wow.
The breakthrough.
Yeah, break free.
Break free.
Break through and break free.
When and how? No idea.
Nobody knows.
It could happen any moment, in every moment.
Could be.
And it shows up differently all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, sitting here as one of my sprinkler sets isn't working right. And it's like, is it that one? No, that one. It was like, I was looking for it a certain way. And when I got to one, the answer was yes. It's like, oh, I don't trust that. Yeah, it didn't tell me, yes, I didn't need the other sprinklers, right? Because why? I was looking for the yes, for the feeling of it, right? Not the actual word, yes. In a sense, you could say I was muscle testing it rather than listening to the word.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And that's the trick.
Right?
You know,
for whatever reason.
The word can be the
trick.
interpretation, or it can be the energy in it.
Mm-hmm. And since it was the word, my mind could have also been playing the trick on me.
Yeah, it's the interpretation of it that plays the trick on you.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get this on the recording because this one just hit me too. The flavors of freedom.
So break free. And in that has the flavors. What did you notice about the flavors of releasing energies?
There's different qualities of freedom. It can show up in many different ways.
Yes, but is one way.
Could is a big one. Good morning, Allison.
Morning, Alison.
Morning, Ian. Morning, Craig. Sorry, I couldn't. I was struggling to get my mic going.
Good
Sure,
morning,
you-
Allison.
Morning, Jeff.
You caught us exploring the flavors of freedom.
Hmm.
Potentially in the structure of gather, break free, scatter, to just gather again.
Hmm.
Break free, scatter, over and over again. No.
Or
I
a
just got
cycle.
this. Yeah. Liberation is a dynamic. It's an ongoing recycling process.
Rejuvenation, rejuvenating process. Yeah, it can be both, right? Expanding and a contracting. Sharing how could say break free word.
Oh, freedom is an opening. An expansion.
Well, I was just thinking about Ian. When you came in a little while back, Ian, I can't remember whether it was in a meeting or whether it was what you wrote about in the group. But what I'm linking is that freedom is in the heart. When what I got from Ian's testimony of his own experience was that as he dropped further and further into his heart, he became freer and freer. More and more space to allow for what is.
Yeah, I resonate. Freedom is in the heart. Yeah, I can feel that. Maybe freedom from yourself, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to share something now because it's about the heart and stuff. I'd say the last 2 months I've been realizing something about myself. What I've been realizing is around allowing love into my life, around allowing people to love me. There's been a block there around love and around accepting love into my life. And I've just been seeing that it's always been me. Like I've blocked love. And I feel like there's this wall and it's starting to come down and I'm starting to allow love in. But it's always been me. There's something been there around me not allowing love in. Maybe love's scary, love hurts, I don't know, but there's just something there. But I can feel the wall starting to come down.
That's amazing. think that's our real awakening.
Just seeing it, it's always been me. It's a bit like, whoa, you know, like having to actually be honest, really honest with myself, and like it's been me that's blocked it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, Jesse so often goes to that thing about what do you want, what's in the way, and I was I always go in my own head, what's in my way, and then it's me. I'm in my way. And then I go, oh, okay, that's a big task. How the hell am I going to get myself out of the way? Not so easy.
I'm the mountain in my own way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think for it's just staying in the heart.
Exactly. I would second that.
Yeah, and let the dynamic of liberation do its thing.
And there's something about freedom. It's not free of something. It's not void of it. It's not empty. There's something truly that's there.
Mhm.
And it's from the heart. It has to be from the heart, which is why when we go for what do you want, there's that desire. And what the desire is a pull, not a force. It's still a
Mhm.
force. It's a tension, but it's a flowing tension. It's a
Oh.
compelling tension.
It's magnetic.
Yeah. So often, I think our tendency, if we want to be free, like freedom, free of something, we think nothing should be there. It should be empty.
Yeah.
And in energy work, I think it's to focus it, to reshape it, to create what could, like working the could, what could it be that has us rather than resisting. So to be free of resistance, to be free of resisting, to be free of the fighting, and then go for the other side, the opposite, the flowing, the compelling, the drawing into.
Yeah.
Which is from the heart.
So my word this morning that I wanted to share was grace.
Grace.
And I think it goes very nicely with the theme that you guys are working. We allow grace to, sorry about the noise. When we allow grace to facilitate, that's what it does.
Facilitate. Yeah.
Yeah. There's the catalyst energy to it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the collaborative things.
The collectiveness of it, the connectedness, their connectedness.
Yes. And that's
Yeah,
so
listen-
interesting, because there's a freedom in connection.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting when we explore these energies, like it feels like home?
Mm-hmm. It is home.
Yeah.
God, you guys know what peonies are, right?
Yeah. Peonies. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've just walked past a house that has got like 4 or 5 bushes all bunched together. And they are all flowering and they are massive. And it just looks like a huge big cloud.
Yeah.
It's white and pink. It's so beautiful.
That time of year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're one of those favorite Canadian flowers for sure.
They are really beautiful. They thrive here.
Yeah.
So funny. And mum, it was my mom's favorite flower. And when I graduated, you couldn't find peonies in South Africa. And then that year, for some other reason, somehow one florist managed to import them. My mom spent an absolute fortune. And my exchange sister and myself each got one.
Oh,
I'm not sure what peonies are. What color are they?
Oh, they're a combination. They can be dark red, white. I don't think I've ever seen yellow ones, and then all kinds of pink. I'll take a
How do you
picture.
spell it? I'm gonna Google it. How do you spell it? Peonies. I'm gonna
Okay.
Google it.
PEO. Yeah.
PEONIE.
Oh yeah, peonies.
They are and when you see them, you'll recognize them in being all the old paintings, right? They
Oh
call
yeah,
them
they're pretty.
cloud. Yeah, they call them cloud flowers. But they're so lush. And they're opening all over the place now.
Oh, yeah, they're really pretty.
Mm.
Hmm.
Nature provides it all that we need.
I like sunflowers. When I went to America, I ran through a sunflower field. It was amazing.
Mm.
It was really nice.
I bet.
I haven't really seen any sunflower fields in the UK, but when I went to the US, I ran through it. I was like, yay, it was really nice.
I'm gonna have to run, guys. Thank you so much for this. It was really good to be with you. Have a great day.
Bye, Allison.
Much
Thanks.
love,
Thank
Allison.
you, Allison. Big love.
So sharing the structure of trust, truth, and win. I think that wraps up for today. Like we're working, what did we work around and focus in as the awareness of that? The awareness of the structure and tension between trust. What could I trust? What could trust be? What could the tension between that and the truth of now? What is the truth? And that awareness is where we win. We take the action. We move towards it. We expand into it. That creates, we can be aware of our charges between truth and trust. Aware of our wobbles, wiggles, and giggles.
Aware of the
Aware.
I can't
Yes.
that showed up. For me anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Aware of the even the I ams that we say I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
So often our I ams are limited.
You know, I just noticed there's a lot less charge in the stories of the past. A lot less charge in now.
I've noticed that like the past, it seems like a different lifetime. If it comes up, I think about this. It just seems like a different life.
Yeah. Yeah, because what was just going through my awareness here, in light of all that we've talked about today, is kind of a retrospective as to what's been going on in my life the last couple of years, and it's like there's certainly no trigger there anymore. But it seems like the charge of all that stuff is heading toward neutral.
The charge has been unplugged out the wall. There's no charge.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Which is quite miraculous, because at the time I was in the middle of it, it was tense to the extreme. Like, oh man. Yeah. It was undescribable when it was going on. Wow.
But it's made you who you are, and it's give you a lot of wisdom. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, the gifts in it are unmeasurable, you know. And you know, so what I'm noticing is that all these stories are coming out. Like, all these stories are coming out in just really profound wisdom and depth in them.
Mm.
Like, speaking of the flavors of freedom, it reminds me of my grandpa back in the 60s used to run a drive-through dairy bar, very much like Dairy Queens used to be, but this was like in the early 60s. So I think it was before Dairy Queen that he ran that. And he was very proud, because he painted up a sign with all of them. He boasted 101 flavors of milkshakes. And I'm sure I tried many of them. I don't know if I tried all 101 of them, but the flavors of freedom reminded me of those flavors of milkshakes. So it's interesting. It makes for a very, very, very interesting story, actually.
Ice water?
Do I need an ice water? Sure. Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
You have a good day.
Thank you.
Is that ever hilarious? I'm temporarily living in a neighborhood that's all 55 plus people, and this lady in this van, it's Owl Transportation. So people that are up in age tend to need transportation to places like doctor appointments and that kind of stuff. So that's a booming business in this kind of a neighborhood. So anyway, she just stopped and asked me, because I keep stopping on the sidewalk every once in a while, because I'll bend over when something hits me. I'll just stop and kind of catch my breath and let the insight flow through me. And she just stopped and asked me if I needed an ice water, and she gave me an ice water. So anyway, yeah. So it's very interesting how all these things are so synchronous, you know. They're all synchronizing like crazy. It's just like, because I know people go past me on the street, and I know I'm radiating a certain energy, right? And yeah, it's just fascinating how that all works. My life has never been like this. it's kind of insane. Wonderfully insane.
I'm glad you got a garden now. I remember you saying you wanted one, so yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, when I talk about finding some grass to walk on, that's one thing about this neighborhood is it was designed back in about 1960 to be an active living seniors community. In fact, there's no public schools here or anything like that. It's all, you know, it's all for older people. And the thing that kills me is it's supposed to be an active community, but it's really, really hard to find grass to walk on. Like I have to, this morning I had to walk about 3 blocks to get to a patch of grass to walk on. Because all the rest of it, they don't have lawns here because it gets so hot in the summer. So there's a lot of front yards that just have gravel on them. You know, there's sidewalks.
What part of the US is it?
Pavement. It's Phoenix area.
Phoenix, nice.
Yeah. It's a suburb called Sun City.
Ooh, that's a nice name, Sun City. Matches your personality.
Thank you, Ian.
Sun City.
Yeah, there's a lot of birds here. There's doves and quail, thousands of them. There's also little birds that I don't recognize. Little bird that's kind of has an orange red cap and shoulders, head and shoulders. Very interesting little bird. And of course, there's hummingbirds like crazy.
Yeah, I can hear them. They sound really nice.
Yeah, a lot of bees.
I like feeding the birds. I find it really relaxing.
Yeah, I do too.
So I go out and feed them a lot.
My cosmic support crew shows up as birds. So it's interesting. They like sharing my aura. Oh, and there's citrus fruit trees, like that they grow pretty much wild in this neighborhood. So I've been eating a lot of grapefruit the last couple months.
Nice. I love America.
You've been here a few times?
3 times.
Oh wow, cool. So what parts
Maybe
have
I'll
you been
come
to?
back again.
The
Michigan,
country? You into Michigan? Okay.
Orlando,
Okay.
and New York.
New York. Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got a pretty good cross section.
Mm. Michigan was for I went to see a specialist, I made a holiday out of it, so it was nice.
Yeah. Awesome. What part of
I
Michigan?
don't think Ann Harbor.
Ann Arbor. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I would have gone otherwise to Michigan, but yeah, I made the most of it. It was really nice. We've got really nice gardens there, so it was really nice nature.
Yeah. It's one of the most beautiful states there is.
I might call her up and say, can I come for another appointment just for excuse to go?
Yep.
Make a holiday out of it. I'll say to her, can I come for another appointment?
Yeah. Well, when I get my RV, I'll invite you. We can do some trucking around the country for a while.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'd like to go back to New York as well. I didn't see Niagara Falls,
Yeah.
which is pretty close by, isn't it? I'd like to go there.
In a manner of speaking, Niagara Falls and New York City are about, I would guess, about a 10-hour drive from each other. Maybe it's more than that.
Really? Because I
did
remember
it. I did it once.
When I was there, a lady was saying she was going to go to Niagara Falls the next day, and she said it was pretty close. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's not. Well, Niagara Falls is actually New York is on New York State, but New York State is pretty big. Like upstate New York, as they call it, is pretty broad. It goes from the Hudson River all the way to Niagara Falls.
I'll go back one day.
Yep.
And they've opened up now, so I can go.
Yep. Good. You mean because of COVID, you mean?
Yeah, the vaccine, because I haven't had it, so I couldn't go, but I'm allowed to go, and you're allowed to go now, so.
Yeah, awesome.
They've opened it up again.
Yeah.
I think about a month ago, they've opened it up again about a month ago. So.
Oh, yeah. Wow, what a day this has been. Oh my.
Yes, it has.
You know,
Okay.
I was mentioning I was attending an event yesterday, and after the event was all over, the sun went down, and I was looking at Venus in the sky, and took a little walk. It was pretty windy, and then the wind died down after the sun went down, and I just had about 3 hours where I was in a theta space, and it was just coming out of me like crazy. So the book is coming, boys. The book is just morphing itself right out of me.
Oh, you're writing a book?
And all these stories. Yeah. Yeah, the working title of it, Ian, is Being Creativity.
Nice. I want a signed copy.
Got one. Actually, the truth is, it's you guys that are writing it. You know, I'm just the mouthpiece. I'm just
The
putting it
collective
together.
energy is right in
The
it.
collector. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just the
Yeah, the
collector.
collective energy. Mm.
Yep. Because nothing's really original. But everything is original. If that makes any sense.
It does.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay, Craig, I'm gonna shoot off now. I'm gonna go and cook dinner and stuff. But yeah,
Okay.
It was-
Awesome.
it's been nice talking.
Yeah. It's time for
Take
us to
care.
shut her down too. Right, Jesse?
Thanks, Ian. It is. Thanks, guys. It's great being with you.
See ya.
Until next time.
Okay. Big
Much
love,
love.
Jesse. Can you post
Thanks.
the link to this session in the Heart Centered group again, please?
Sure. I will. Yep.
Thank you.
Much love.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Yeah. And check
Thanks.
your text from me.
Okay.
Check for a text from me.